Hello everyone and welcome to week 12 of the official iRacing Le Mans series. Final broadcast race of the season, and we are live from beautiful Silverstone, the Grand Prix circuit, the old one of course, while we wait for iRacing to bring home the new one in hopefully as little time as possible. Hello everyone once again. It's, like I said, the final race of the season that we're going to broadcast, and I think we are in for a cracker with many good drivers showing up, single split, so we will have drivers of different levels of quickness and pace all throughout the field. Decent showing of cars in LMP1, LMP2 and GTE. As we are waiting for the qualifying session to end, and provisionally in pole position is Matt Farrow over Thierry Rensen and Dylan Mann. This is the top three in the LMP1 category. As we have other drivers finishing their laps, Erwan Wustra, for example, in his Audi. He is in P7 because Antoine Cousin, he just went quicker than him, moving up to P6. Neil Andrews leading the way in the LMP2 field. Don't see Carlo Labati in the entry list. Johan Hart is in there, but he is not at the moment on track, and it looks like he will start at the back of the LMP2 field if he is able to make the start. Right now also in pole position for the GTE class it's Chris Fuller, as we get set to get a better idea at the standings right now. 1 minute left, a little bit less than that, and then we will go through the final results of qualifying. The weather, picture perfect day, I would say, with 20 degrees in the atmosphere and 26 degrees on the racetrack itself, 26% humidity, 12 kilometers per hour of wind. I would say a pleasant day out for the race fans, and hopefully also for us watching at home, for you watching at home. As qualifying is over and we are ready to go through the starting grid. LMP1, Matt Farrow is your pole sitter. He is in front of Thierry Rensen by 1.2 seconds. Then it's Dylan Mann and Daniel Bida, Tim Greven, Antoine Cousin, Erwan Wustra, Nicolas Jones Jr., Alessandro Dalle Donne, Aiko Kruger, Ben Snemethi, and Linus Areng in P12. Marcus Vesetka is the final car in the LMP1 field. LMP2 field then. Not this, but this is the right screen. Neil Andrews on pole position in front of Jack Gooden, then William Dyer and Michael Mayer. Then we have sitting in 5th position Jay DeMarken, Billy Fletcher behind him, Robert De Souza, Stefan Mommen, Henry Hamalainen, Johan Hart, will he take the start? And then Samuel Morley. And then in GTE, rounding up the grid, Chris Fuller, pole position, David Baraklov in second. Then we have Jose Galilea, Jason Marshall, Jonathan Dance, Clive Lawrence, Agustin Martin, Dennis Neidhart behind him, then Ahmad Allam, PJ Claessens, Cyril Deforge, Richard Eistand, Lewis Ward, Antonino Garcia, Marcus Deck, Pavel Kowalik, Kevin Ong, Matthias Eriksson, Vincent Bin, Oscar Ituomi, Peter Martin Högstra, and rounding up the grid in the GTE field we have Niklas Laubisch. So, entire lap behind the pace car. We say hello to our viewers on the YouTube chat. We also remind you that in 1 hour time, more or less, we are going to have a live stream of the World F3 Championship live from Monza, and that is going to be absolutely great. I think it's going to be a night of close action in that championship. Hopefully it is the same in here, as Matt Farrow leads the way around the old layout of the Silverstone racetrack. If I may say, it's my favorite layout of Silverstone. Long may it live in the memory of us sim racers here on iRacing in this laser scanned version. LMP2 field already keeping their distance from the back of the LMP1 pack, and this is the GTE field with teammates Fuller and Barraclough, first and second. We haven't seen Matt Farrow in a bit in the Wednesday night races. No Patrick Wolf, no Dominic Farber, but we still have plenty of very, very big drivers. Farrow itself, Ransom, of course, Dylan Mann, Mr. Audi himself, Erwin Woodstra, who has a new livery, apparently. Need to get a nice shot of the car. It does look good. As the cars are heading into Abbey, then it's a more or less a straight run towards Bridge and Priory, then Brooklands, Luffield, Woodcott, and of course these are all names that live in the memory of race fans. Sadly, the new layout doesn't go past the bridge anymore, which is one of the best sections, I think, in World Motorsport. Nice to see the... Oh, this is, of course, Abbey. I always get confused between Vale and Abbey, but yeah. So, time to go racing then. Matt Farrow leads the way. He will have the inside line heading into the first corner. Hopefully we have no major issues. And then we will be ready to go. The pace car makes the hard right towards pit lane, and Matt Farrow pushes the gas pedal. We are racing here in Silverstone for the final round of the season in the official iRacing Le Mans series, and it's a clean start for Matt Farrow, Terry Jensen, Dylan Mann. Antoine Cousin goes a bit wide, but the LMP1 field is safe and sound as we start also in the LMP2 field with Neil Andrews with already a decent lead over the rest of the pack. Johan Hart has started, and Stefan Mommen is the first casualty of the day as the GTE field runs past him. Everyone trying to avoid any kind of contact. Of course, 1 hour race is very, very long, and you would like, you know, to keep your car clean at least in the beginning of the race. Back to the front, Matt Farrow already pulling away from Hansen. Behind him, Dylan Mann in third, being put under pressure by Antoine Cousin. Not many concrete or tarmac asphalt runoff areas around this track, as we have, I think, a bit of an issue here, as they are braking super hard to get into club. Just a massive slowing down of cars, I'd imagine. No major contact, as Stefan Momen, you see him behind the GT field, and now he has to basically climb his way back through the entire field. Also, there's another slow LMP2 machine. It's Henri Hamalainen, and he is in the mix with the leaders of the GTE class, in between Chris Fuller and David Baraklov. I think we've had an issue for Cyril Deforge, who has dropped some positions on our screen. Here he is, going very slowly with his Ford GT car, and I think he got a slowdown or something like that, but his car seems to be otherwise fine. And now, another issue for the Forge. A bigger one, I might add. I think he had a decent run through the grass. But he is still going. Back live then, because battle on the track. You see Erwan Woodstrap being pressured by Tim Greven. This is the fight for P6. Also some fighting in the GT. Lawrence together with Agustin Martin. Fight for P5 in class. P6 in class, I apologize, but the leader is not that far away, and now Hamalainen with his LMP2 has been able to pull away, as Agustin Martin is heading for pit road, which this early in the race is never a good sign. Maybe he forgot to put fuel in the car after qualifying, or maybe he has some damage, but I think it's, or you know, I think it's the first of the two. Greven has gone past Erwan Woodstra there. In the LMP2 class, Neil Andrews has already a 2.6 second lead. Oh, we have an issue, I think, for Erwan Woodstra. Yeah, he went a bit wide. Not being put under pressure by... Oh, look at this. Momen making his way through the GT field, and it's not an easy thing to do, as he's slicing and dicing. Now he went past Marcus Deck, and now with a half dive bomb, if that thing exists, on Niklas Laubisch. It's so tough for both parties involved. Of course, you need to be sensible, but look at that, because now Laubisch has put himself in a position to be vulnerable. Oh, we have a crash. Antonino Garcia is around, already pointing in the right way, so quick recovery for him, but crucial time lost in a class, this GT1 especially, where the competition is so tight, where you really cannot afford any kind of mistake, as Johan Hart is already up to P6 in class, and he went by Billy Fletcher, and now is pushing to get close to Jay DeMarken in P5 in the LMP2. Fletcher is not giving up. Hart, I think, will pull away. He's usually a driver that fights for the race win. He has a great pace, usually. So a bit of a surprise that he starts in the back of the field without qualifying. I don't know if it's by choice or an issue. Samuel Morley and Harry Amalainen. Battle for 9th place in the LMP2 class. Last guy in the class, once again. Stefan Mommen here, still trying to get by the GTE, as David Barraclough has dropped many positions, from 2nd down to 5th. And this is why he went around, and that's how he lost all his positions, basically. Once again, down to P5. He just went by Clive Lawrence. Jonathan Dunn's the next target for him. But of course, crucial time losses. Dylan Mann has been passed by Antoine Cousin, and now he's defending from Daniel Bida. Also, Tim Greven is coming through as they are passing by some GTE traffic. This is great stuff. Look at the cars darting left and right, trying to make overtakes, trying to avoid contact with slower classes as well, as there is contact. Bida is sideways. I think that other machine involved was Erwan Woodstra, and also we have a crash for one of the GTE drivers, Vincent Ben. We will go back to that as soon as possible, but still, big bunch of cars. Everyone jostling for position, everyone trying to not give away an inch to their opponents. Dylan Mann being put under pressure by Tim Greven here, and Greven has made a nice progression so far after losing some positions in the beginning of the race. Now up to P5 once again. That's the position where he started. Man now, Woodstra, Greven, Bida, you know, putting some distance between themselves. Update on the stranded LMP2 machine of Stefan Mommen is now up to P30 overall. He has to get by 6 GT machines: Clive Lawrence, David Barraclough, Jonathan Duns, John Marisol, and also Galilea and Fuller. As we have a major issue something went very wrong in the penultimate corner. Let's see what happened here from the chopper camera. We had Linus Areng in the LMP1 car there. Oh, completely misjudged his braking point, and all chaos ensued in the back, with cars flipping left and right. And those are the risks, of course, of multi-class racing. As let's go back to this nice battle here at the front of the pack. A new battle, by the way, because Team Greven is really pushing hard now, hunting down Antoine Cousin for P3 overall, and of course in the LMP1 class. This last lap, 0.5 of a second gained by Greven on Cousin. Because now we have also an LMP1 in between the traffic of the LMP2 field, and actually going very slow is Markus Vesechka. So we have to keep an eye on this. Benz Nemethi and Echo Kruger side by side, with Nemethi getting the position. Back to this nice battle here. Let's go on board with Team Greven for a bit. Always nice to see how these drivers approach the racetrack, and of course you can only do so much practice in clean air, but then the race comes. As you can see there, Cousin going very wide to avoid that LMP2 car, and now Team Greven is in the wall. Team Greven is off, and he jumped back to the pits. Whilst we were riding with him, we saw Antoine Cousin go wide, I think, to, because he made a maybe over-optimistic move, and then the LMP2 car spins and puts poor Tim into the wall. No way he could have avoided that. Was that Samuel Morley? I think he was, yes. Let's go on his onboard and see what happened from his perspective. So the 46 car, Samuel Morley, keeps going, but I think for Team Greven that was just a matter of wrong place at the wrong time, I'd imagine. Echo Kruger having some issues, cutting the final, cutting the chicane there at Abbey, and then of course proceeding to lose one position. Get a nice slowdown there, as we also have Johan Hart making moves, unsurprisingly I'd say, in the LMP2 field. Now he's up to P3 as he went past Michael Meyer, and now Jack Gooden is his next target. Neil Andrews is significantly ahead of him. So I don't think that the race win is on the cards for Johan Hart, but we will see. Meanwhile in GT, Chris Fuller is enjoying a nice comprehensive lead over José Miguel Galilea in second, and David Baraclough, his teammate, who climbed back to third place, as we have Jonathan Dance and Jason Maréchal fighting it out for the fourth spot in their class. Let's ride on board with a very loud Porsche 911 GT. Nicely done, trying to use all of the slipstream, then going down the gears as they brake for Vale. Now, in reality, here at Club, you could really use a lot of that inside curb if you want. Of course, there's always the risk-reward. You go just a bit too much on the inside and you get a slowdown penalty, which is something that you really don't want to have. But these drivers, I think they are all using proper racing line quite nicely. They don't want to risk anything, especially right now that we just started the race. Even though we saw already some crazy stuff happen. As we have Johan Hart fighting with Jack Gooden. And he gets the move done. So Johan Hart, after 12 laps, I'd say 11 laps, is already up to P2 in class, and now the hunt is on. We will keep an eye on the clock between himself and Neil Andrews and see who comes out on top of this battle, as I think Godden, so I'm sorry, and Michel Mayer will fight it out for the third spot of the podium and maybe try to profit from some mistakes from the guys ahead of them, as Matt Farrow, the race leader, is starting to catch some lap traffic, some more lap traffic I should say. Hello Alvio, hello everyone also watching, thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Like I said in the beginning, we have another nice night of racing for you, as that's an alternative line from Kevin Onk. We have this race, and then in around 45 minutes time we will have the World F3 Championship from Monza, also on Apex Racing TV, so don't miss that. And tomorrow, of course, we are going to have at the same time the season finale of the BSR Radicals from Mount Panorama, and also we are going to have the Sim Racers World Championship from Sebring, 1 hour race that one. Marcus Deck having some issues as one of the VRT boys goes past him, of course Dylan Mann. See what happened to Marcus Deck, as he had a weird line going through Happy there, and then back on the power. Daniel Bida moving in the traffic, putting distance between himself and oh, dalle donne! Oh, contact! Big contact behind him. Billy Fletcher is around. Let's get a replay of that. Oh, dalle donne hit the GT car and then lost control of the car just a bit. He slowed unexpectedly, and then also another LMP1 machine joined the party in colliding. And this means, oh, Daniel Bida off. And Dalle Donne is off as well once again. So crazy moments in the back end of the LMP1 field. Daniel Bida, I think, has some big damage on his car. So Dalle Donne also has damage because he's in the pits way too early, I think. Well, he might go on until the end. Daniel Bida is in, and also Nicolas Javier Jones Jr. He is in the pits as well, and he was the guy that collided, I think, with Daledon and that LMP2 machine just at the beginning of this lap. So we have 3 wounded LMP1 machines. They are 8th, 9th and 10th in class. 11th is Markus Vesechka, and he is of course now in the middle of the GT field trying to get some more positions. Tim Greven is off, sadly, and Linus Aring also off in that class. Let's check in with the battle for P2 in GT. David Baraklav, after making a mistake, losing many positions, is back in P2. He gets past Jose Miguel Galilea, and once again back on the second step of the podium. Also Markus Deck and Pavel Kovalik, with Markus Deck of course trying to get back some of the positions he lost earlier. We have the stranded LMP1 of Vesechka, and someone is most definitely off there. Let's see how Vesechka approaches the traffic. Remember, these guys are not getting a blue flag. He's actually passing them for position, and so it's always a tricky moment, because blue flags are there, especially they are very useful in this category here, because they can really help you in spotting an upcoming LMP1, which can really come at you super fast. But of course, if the LMP1 is at your same lap or laps behind you, you won't get the blue flags, and then all sorts of misunderstandings can and probably will happen. Nice battle here between Woodstra and Dylan Mann. Let's go on board with the VRT driver, chasing down Mr. Audi himself. Side by side there. Of course, we have talked at length about the problems of the Audi. Everyone is hoping to get some updates in the coming weeks. Of course, week 13 right around the corner there. I'm sure many drivers would love to get into the Audi, because it's a really nice car. Some fantastic sound, as lapped cars getting in the way of this battle, as it's normal for multi-class racing. Good run from Mann, of course, maybe with the help of some boost. Once again, a good run from Mann coming out of Stowe, but nothing to write home about, because Audi is still in front. And it's that usual time of the day when we recap the possible strategies for tonight, and there's only one strategy as per usual. This means stop as late as possible and only take fuel, don't take tires, unless you are really confident of getting in and out of the pits and staying very sure of staying out of traffic. Then you might risk doing an undercut, pitting a little bit earlier, but with the amount of cars on the track and with the amount of the different classes involved, it's almost impossible to get a clean track in this category. So everyone usually just goes for latest stop as late as possible and only take the required amount of fuel to get home. Lawrence and Laubish now. Breaking at tail and now going under the bridge. Laubish has gained several positions. Of course, 16 in his class to be precise. And now he is absolutely closing in on PJ Claessens, as we have, I think that is Matt Farrow going by. It's a good run here, Laubish. I think he can get, we can already hear his opponent's engine. As Dylan Mann is in, by the way. So he went past Erwan Woodstra and then immediately headed in for the pits as Laubish looks on the inside of Claessens and gets the move quite easily in the end. Issues for Michel Mayer in the meantime. LMP2 participant, he went around at Hubby. More at Kleb, I should say. As we have an issue also for PJ Claessens, the driver we were just showing, fighting with Laubish. He went off the track and losing time. Laubish pulling away, and now of course he needs to defend from Clive Lawrence right behind him. Billy Fletcher trying to make his way up the field. He is behind Chris Fuller, the leader in the GT class. Also we have Markus Vechetka in the middle of the LMP2 field now. Woodstra is in, covering, I think, after Dylan Mann's pit stop, as we are hitting the halfway mark of this race. Of course, the season proper will not end tonight. It will end on the night between Monday and Tuesday, or to be precise, at midnight GMT of next Tuesday, the coming Tuesday. Dylan Mann is in the final corner. Erwan Woodstra coming out of the pits. Does he get the position back? I tell you what, I think it does. So the overtake then pit didn't work for Dylan Mann, and now he's in P5 once again and looking forward to get back to Woodstra and maybe fight with him again for 4th place. Johan Hart is in the pits. Say hello to other viewers joining us. Sadly, but Tim Greven is joining us after his crash, and of course, a very, very unfortunate crash for him. We also have one of the regulars, Patrick Wolf, Antiaola as well joining us, Simeon Lynch, of course. Hopefully you enjoyed the full season coverage of this series, because we really did. Everyone at Apex Racing TV absolutely enjoyed it. And we hope to bring you this series next season as well, of course, with a new competitor in town, the BMW M8 GTE, which will more likely than not make its debut in a couple of weeks in the first race of Season 2 of 2019. And we are also heading towards, possibly, even though it's not been confirmed, an expansion of the allowed vehicles per race from 6 to 7. So this means that it looks like we are going to get all the same cars that we have this season, and a new car as well, fourth GT after the Ferrari, the Ford and the Porsche. So this is good news. The bad news, I'd say, that came out this week is that iRacing is not actively in the process of getting a new prototype done, which means that unless things change quite dramatically, we won't have a DPI and or a new global LMP2 car in iRacing. There has been a post by the community representative Alexander Horn in the past few days where he explained this. And so I think we are stuck with a nice LMP2 HPD for quite a bit, which will make the drivers that are good at it very, very happy, I might add. Of course, also, series regular Dominic Farber is joining us watching the race. I guess for them it's, you know, a little bit of a break, maybe thinking you have enough points in the bag, so why don't not just, you know, drop the week and enjoy the race from the sidelines every once in a while. It's absolutely understandable, and it's a pleasure to be joined in the chat by such good drivers, which always do their best on track in Wednesdays to keep us entertained. So Dylan Mann is 2.8 seconds back from Erwan Woodstra, 3 seconds now. So what was a close battle before the pits has become less than a close battle now, as I say that. Erwan Woodstra, of course, runs wide. So going down the top 5 in each class. Matt Farrow is your leader in the LMP1. Thierry Rensen is in second and in a precarious position right now as he goes by some lapped traffic. Behind him, Antoine Cousin, and then it's Erwan Woodstra and Dylan Mann, like we said, and Dylan Mann fighting through traffic as well. In the LMP2 category, Neil Andrews, Jack Godden and William Dyer are your top 3. Michel Mayer in 4th and Robert De Souza is in 5th. GT, Chris Fuller and David Barraclough 1st and 2nd. José Miguel Galilea is in 3rd, Jonathan Dance and then Niklas Laubisch 4th and 5th. And of course Dance and Laubisch have been fighting for quite a bit now. So let's see how this is resolved. As of course, I think that is Woodstra going by. Pit stops still need to happen in most of the field, especially the GTE class. We can get it up on the screen right now, and you see that basically I think only a couple of drivers stopped, and that was for an unexpected pit stop, as Neil Andrews goes in. But in the meantime, Dance and Laubish side by side as they go into the super quick section here of course, Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell there. But Laubish makes the move, and now we are heading once again for Stowe. Will Dance respond to this attack or not? I think he doesn't bite right now, maybe at Vale. But the distance is increasing between these two guys, so I don't think it's sensible to attack now. And so, for the time being, Laubish is in 4th in the GT class. Like I said, he gained a lot of places. He's up 18 places in his class, I think, by far, and judging by the size of the other classes, he is the biggest gainer of the race so far. Hello to Dave Khan as well, joining us tonight. Final 23 minutes, more or less, of the race, as Laubish is looking to pull away from Dance, and then they both stay out. Laubish had not the greatest of exit coming out of Woodcote there, but he was able to pull away now. Let's also check the cars. Porsche Fest, of course, in GT as per usual. I guess this will change come next, not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that. And some Ferraris, one Ford right now running in GTE. Thierry Rensen from P2 in class. He's in. This will promote Antoine Cousin into 2nd place. We've noticed this season the LMP2s are the LMP1s, sorry, are pitting much later than before. Johan Hart up to P4 in class. You can see right now on the screen Dyer and Michel still have to pit. Sorry, Dyer and Michael and Meyer still have to pit. In front of him and in front of Neil Andrews here. And tell you what, Johan Hart 1.2 seconds back from Neil Andrews, so we might have a battle on our hands come the end of the race. So Rensen is out of the pits. Farrow continues, Antoine Cousin continues, maybe, sorry, he still has to come across the start-finish line. Will he head for the pits in this pink Porsche 919? Yes, he does. So he's in. I guess Rensen should get the position on him. Meantime, Woodstra and Mann are once again very close to each other. Less than half a second between these two guys, as also the leaders, the two guys that were left in P2, Dyer and Meyer, are in, and this promotes Andrews and Hart 1st and 2nd. We will keep an eye on this battle, as Mann fighting through lap traffic, trying to get the best line possible coming out of the final section of corners here in Silverstone. You see how much Mann lost going through that corner with the lapped car in an unfavorable position. Matt Farrow is in from the race lead. pull up the track map and you can see that the distance between himself and Thierry Rensen is that yellow dot with a number 2. So he's more or less half the track away, maybe a bit less than that. I guess that Matt Farrow should be able to get back in the lead quite easily, and so he does. Let's go back to this battle here, because Woodstra and Mann have certainly been the most entertaining duo in the LMP1 field tonight. It's so nice to have an Audi so up in the field. Also check on Mr. Daledonne here after his issue earlier, up in P7. With Ben Snemethi coming out of the pits in P8, and Vesechka and Jones are a long way back. Back to Woodstra and Cousin, as we have a fight for P3 in the GT class. Galilea and Laubisch, as they go under the bridge, LMP2 cars splitting them. Gotta be super careful here. Both of these guys have to pit. And as I say that, Galilea heads for the pit, so Laubisch will take control, albeit temporarily, of P3 in the GT class. Looking once again, apologies for removing it at the pit counter. Galilea has been in, Martin has been in, Tuomi has been in, and also Honk has been in, but I think all, apart from Galilea, of course, all these were early pit stops in order to avoid, to repair some damage or maybe because of some crashes. So we will keep an eye on these guys if they have to pit again or not. Galilea won't have to pit again, he's coming out of the pits already. Is he in traffic? Apparently not. There's a big bunch of cars behind him, but he will stay clear of them for the time being. And Woodstra side by side, and looks like Mann finally got moved on his opponent. Up to P4 with only 60 minutes left, and now slicing and dicing through the traffic. Fantastic stuff. As we look back from the number 9 Porsche 919, it never ceases to amaze me how these guys can be in a battle and at the same time thread the needle so closely with cars that have such a slower pace than them. So as we have a Porsche that I think was Marcus Deck having an issue there. So the closing speed between the LMP1s and both the GTs and the LMP2s is absolutely amazing, as Laubisch is in the pits, and we will see, also Klesins in the pits, we will see when and where he will come out in comparison to his rival Galilea there. So these guys are able not only to, most of the times, go through the traffic, they can also do that whilst battling for position. And this battle between Mann and Woodstra basically has been going on since minute 10 of the race, more or less. So congratulations to these guys, and I don't think that this is over just yet. Laubisch is out of the pits, and also, out of the racetrack as well, as the Forge behind him has to stomp on the brakes to avoid him. And now Galileas comes through as well, they are side by side. On the Hangar Straight as they head into Stowe. Galilea gets the jump on the Forge and is right behind Laubisch, who didn't do any good to his car by taking that alternative route through the grass, bouncing very hard on in the runoff area there. Another battle that I think is not over just yet, this one, and I guess it will go on until the checkered flag drops, as in third place of the GT class is Jonathan Dance, and he's in fourth place Clive Lawrence, he's in fifth place Marshall, then night of everyone getting into the pits, and this means that Laubish will probably, I say, maybe jump most of these guys, or we will see. Here comes Laubish then, and also Galilea in the final corner right now, as the Forge also heads for the pits. Dance is coming out of his pit stall. Here comes Laubish, here comes Galilea. It's going to be tight between these three guys here. Oh, Galilea spins and is off. As Dance and Laubish are side by side, getting into Kops, Magos and Beckett's there. And Laubish prevails, as I see Galilea dropping in the standings. Let's see his mistake from his own board. Managed to avoid the barriers, but a mistake with so little time left in the race is absolutely dreadful for him. And he was having absolutely, he had chance to fight for the podium. The dominator in GT has been Chris Fuller, and he's in the pits. His teammate David Baraklov also in. He made a nice comeback after his earlier issues. I think both of these guys will comfortably come out in first and second. Fuller is already heading out of his pit stall and back into the track, and Baraklov will follow him soon enough. You can see Laubish is not going to be able to close the gap unless Baraklov has a penalty or something like that, but that doesn't seem to be the case, as we have a crash. Marcus Deck, he didn't have the best of nights so far. And another mistake here, and I think he said that is too much. As Jonathan Dance off in the first corner, with some damage to his rear wing as well. Another surprise in this GT field. Let's go to the chopper camera for this one. First corner that has been catching out some of these GT drivers in these final few laps. Oh, he spun on, well, he was on the exit curb there, and you know, Galilea was lucky, he wasn't, and he smashed hard into the wall. Look at the damage on his car. Down to P5 in class, and with a pretty damaged Porsche, I might add. Ahmad Allam and Clive Lawrence fighting it out for P9, as we give some love to the back end of the GT field as well, now that, like almost every week in the final few minutes, most of the battles have been settled, as Jonathan Dance is having some big issues now. Went wide once again, went into the gravel. Marshall went by now. Does he pit, or does he try to... No. He does the right thing, I imagine, and goes into the pits trying to get some repairs done. Maybe he has got a mechanical black flag, who knows. Certainly he prefers to stop, and that is of course a sad end to his race. But also we have lost Erwan Woodstra, who was having a fantastic race, fighting for top 5 in the LMP1 field, and to be fair, looking at the event viewer, doesn't seem like he had an issue or something like that, because he just disappeared and hasn't reappeared since. So bad luck for everyone there. And now Dylan Mann is pretty safe in his 4th place. Heiko Kruger promoted to P5. And we have the confirmation. Everyone is in our chat and understandably upset. Milandris has pulled away from Johan Hart. He's lapping 1 second faster, more or less, as of late, and he's really putting his 1st place in the LMP2 field in the bag. Network issues, connection issues for Erwan Woostra, sadly. That's what cost him possibility at the top 5, and really an unfortunate end to a fantastic race from him. Like I said, his battle with Dylan Mann was really the highlight of the LMP1 field today. And certainly not the way you want to end your season. Nicolas Xavier Jones Jr. has some issues, and I think he has towed back to the pits. Here we go, on board with him. Oh! That's a big one. And his race, yeah, he towed back to the pits, understandably so. His race is over. A weird crash, I might say. Let's see it from this camera. So he clipped the grass there, but he was already, you know, car didn't seem to be too unstable. But apparently that is what happened, and the car went straight into the wall. No chance to recover from a crash like that, unfortunately, and he is off. He was already a bit behind, to be fair, but still, you never want to crash out of a race with so little time left. GT class giving us the last few battles of the season with a little bit more than 5 minutes left. We have, of course, as you can see right now on the screen, Claesens and Marshall. This is the fight for P4. Neidhart is basically trying to close in on Galilea. And then we have Clive Lawrence and Amada Alam. This is the battle for P8. Also, we have more than a potential battle in LMP2 for the final podium spot, because William Dyer and Jack Godden are slicing through the traffic as Dyer disappears and then reappears, something that is never easy for all the parties involved, the driver himself and his opponents and lapped cars trying to figure out where and when he is going to appear next. After this bunch of lapped cars, seems like Godden has been able to pull away just a bit as Lawrence went by Alam once again. I think we lost P6 in the LMP1 field. Alessandro Daredon has disappeared, either that or he has been disqualified. So this LMP1 field, I mean, started with a decent number of cars, 13 to be precise, and not many of them left, I'm afraid. As Erwan Woostra is back, trying to get back on track after getting the tow. We have a car around there. I think it's a Lam. Yes, he is. And Neidhart goes by as well. Clive Lawrence has disappeared. I think he has been disqualified. Weird turn of events. So here was Lawrence, and the guy in front of him is Alam in the 24. Some contact or close call here. I think this replay is a bit too far. Yes, this is the right one. So they come into the first corner. Did they touch? They did, and I think that disqualified Lawrence and turned Alam around. So fireworks in the end of the at the end of the day, as the disqualifications are starting to come in, and of course it's never nice to have your race ended this late because of a disqualification, but that is the law. I might have said that, but yeah, Carlos Ebi is joining us in the chat as well, of course, another one of the regulars. Most of them taking the week off, and once again, I don't blame them. It's nice to go on vacation a week earlier than usual. I would love to go on board with Dyer, but his connection is really playing some games. So we will stick with the gearbox camera of Golden here. As this battle intensifies, not much left. I'm keeping track of where the leader is. And right now he is a little bit more than halfway through his lap. So I think when he crosses the start-finish line, that will be the final lap for him. So these guys have this one and one more. As Dyer is on the inside at Abbey, hard on the curbs. Godden keeps the position. I think Dyer didn't have the exit he wanted. Slipstream effect in these HPD LMP2 prototypes, not that big. It's not an MX-5, so to speak. Lap 41 starts now. There is 1 minute left on the clock, so this is the final lap for Matt Farrow, the race leader, and all the other cars on the lead lap. And right now it will also be the final lap for everyone else that crosses the line now. So one more lap for William Dyer to get to the podium, and you can see he's not leaving anything on the table, pushing really hard. Every other battle more or less settled around the racetrack. Dyer still looking for the pass. This is the best, his best part. I mean, the section of the racetrack where he is faster. But in the meantime, Matt Farrow, final corner, Bushfink Racing is the race winner tonight for you in the LMP1 field. And here we go with Neil Andrews. Slowly but surely, not taking any chances. He is the winner, your winner in the LMP2 field. A commanding victory. Johan Hart will finish second. And who is going to finish third? It's going to be Jack Godden. With a good result, he gets the podium in front of William Dyer. as most of the GT field has passed the start-finish line. Just a few cars left, you can see on the left side of your screen. It's 1 and 2 for Fuller and Baraklov, just like in qualifying. Laubish is already sure of P3. And, I mean, Fuller is pretty sure of P1 as well, as he has just got a couple more corners left, and then he will celebrate another. I mean, we have had 3 victors today in all 3 of the classes. I apologize, and all 3 of them have been absolutely dominant. Chris Fuller, your race winner in the GTE class. David Baraklov following him in 2nd place. Like I said, Laubish is in 3rd, and that is everyone, as Matt Farrow is having too much fun. I would say a lot of fun, too much fun, because he is sitting outside of the barriers, which is never a good thing. But I mean, like I said, final race of the season, it is more than understandable to have some fun. And now the official race results in the 3 categories. Let's start, of course, with the LMP1 field then. Matt Farrow, your race winner, with Thierry Hansen in 2nd place and Antoine Cousin, Dylan Mann in 4th. Heiko Kruger, Ben Snemeti, Markus Vetechka in 7th. And then the retirees, Dalle Donne, Woodstra, Nicholas Jones Jr., Daniel Bida, Tim Greven, and Linus Arenk. LMP2 field, Neil Andrews, of course, your race winner, commanding win over Johan Hart, who started all the way from the back and finished in 2nd. Jack Godin in 3rd, by a whisker over William Dyan and Robert De Souza. Jay DeMarken, Billy Fletcher, Michel Mayer, Stefan Moment, Samuel Morley, and Henry Hamalainen. These 2 guys, of course, retired from the race. And last, but certainly not least, the GT field, Chris Fuller and David Baraklov. 1-2 for them. Niklas Laubish, PJ Claesens, and Jason Marshall is in 5th place. Then Jose Galilea is in 6th. Dennis Neidach in 9th. Ahmad Alam in 8th. And Cyril Deforge, Matthias Eriksson, the top 10. Agustin Martin, Richard Eisten, Oscar Ituomi, Peter Hoekstra, Clive Lawrence, Kevin Onk, Jonathan Dance, Marcus Deck, and also we've had Pavel Kowalik, Antonino Garcia, Lewis Ward, and Vincent Bean, drivers who had many issues throughout the race and weren't able to bring the car home. And now, a couple of interviews for you. I'd say we start with the LMP2 winner. It's Neil Andrews. Hello, Neil.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Doing fine. It was a nice race to end the season. And like I said in the broadcast, in all 3 of the classes, I mean, there's been a dominator, and today you were the dominator of the LMP2 field.
I think I was a bit lucky. Johan, I think, had a little bit of contact after the pits because he was 2.5 seconds as I come out of the pits. And I think I could just about keep him behind if the traffic was good. But then I suddenly saw he started dropping back a bit, and I think he got caught because there was no way I was going to increase the gap like that in a normal fight. So I feel sorry for Johan for that race, but yeah, I love it. It was a good race, but Silverstone is a good track for me. I love Silverstone.
So I mean, you must be one of the guys that is a bit sad that sooner or later new Riscan is going to come for this track.
Say again, sorry.
I said, I mean, very soon. We don't know when, but there's a rescan of the track coming, and with that a change in the layout. So you're maybe one of the guys that want to keep this old layout around.
I like the new layout as well. I haven't raced it too much. I've done a few competitions on the new layout, but yeah, I mean, if they could keep this track, yeah, then I'd love racing it. But the new layout is just as good, just as flowing, and I think it would suit my driving style for that. As we found out over the season, certain drivers prefer certain tracks than others. So Le Mans last week for me was not a great circuit. I'm not very fast around there.
One more question.
Yes.
We heard from Alexander Horn of the iRacing, staff that there are no plans for a new prototype to come in iRacing. So it looks like the HPD is going to stay for a lot of time. So will you stay with this car or will you move on in the next season?
Well, I've been driving this car since 2016, so I'm going to take a summer break actually after this season. Hopefully, I'm lucky enough and take the championship. At the moment, I've got a few points on Johan, so if I take the championship, then it will be a great time to take a break and then maybe look into some other cars because we are crying out for an LMP2 car. So, but if there's no talk of it coming soon, then maybe look into something different.
Thank you very much, Neil. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, big shout out to the MOATF podcast team. Great bunch of guys. And a big shout out to you guys for the whole season of televising. Great commentary and great interviews as well. So well done, guys.
Thank you very much, Neil, and once again, congratulations for the race win.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
This was race winner in the LMP2 class, Neil Andrews. And now we have Mr. Audi himself, or should I say Mr. Bad Luck today himself. Of course, I'm talking about Ervan Woolstra. Hello, man.
Hello. It just sucks losing a top 5 of something you don't have in control.
I mean, it really does. And I said many times during the broadcast that you and Dylan were absolutely the stars of the LMP1 field today. You had a fantastic battle that lasted for the majority of the race in the end.
Yeah, no, we had a great battle. I think at the start I did have better pace than him, but my tire wear was worse than him. So he got me in the end, but at the end, I think we would have been equal on pace because I had something in my sleeve for the last lap, and I don't know if he did. But no, it was a great race, and well, I got damage from the start of some guys squeezing me on the curb and thinking I wasn't there, so that made me a little bit slower on the first and a little bit more tire wear because on the stair. And for the rest, it was a great race for me. Just sucks then when I finally have a great race that I disconnect because of network issues.
And it seemed like the Audi was going very well on this track tonight.
There were it was really fast compared to the Porsches through Mackett's and Beckett's and through the last sector. Of course, it had its bits where you could see didn't have enough boost for it, like after Mackett's and Beckett's and after the long right-hander.
Mm-hmm.
They just boosted away from me there, which I couldn't really do much about. But I was catching the middle part. I was catching the time I was losing back in the last sector, which made it a little bit equal. And I was better through traffic than I think Dylan and the other guys. But yeah.
One more question. What about next season? Are you coming back to this series?
Of course. I'm gonna be Mr. Audi again.
Okay, no, I actually have one more question, the usual question. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, I would like to thank our painter of our new car. It looks really sick. His name is Matthew Delit, if anyone wants to know on iRacing. For the rest, I would like to thank my team for at least sticking with me this season, and other people who support me. And of course, Pure Racing team, especially Fabrice, for making these setups that I was using.
Thank you very much, man. This was Erwan Vostra, Mr. Audi. He will come back next season, I think, stronger than ever. Good night, man.
Thanks, mate. You good night too.
And so this wraps up our coverage for tonight and for the season as well. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you this series and to keep the broadcast alive from mid-season on. And on a personal note, it has been an absolute pleasure to, read your comments and see how much you were engaged. All of you viewers, and most of you drivers and viewers, of course, coming in to join the chat during the race nights on Wednesday night, and it really put a smile on my face. It was a pleasure, and we will do our best to bring this broadcast back again for next season, because it's probably one of the best series in iRacing. So now we take a break. Of course, if you want to switch over to the World F3 race, they are just about to start. 2 races in Monza with the F3. What could go wrong? Tomorrow, once again, another doubleheader at the same time. BSR Radicals and Sim Racers World, both starting at 8:15 GMT. Friday and Saturday are off. Sunday, the Apex Racing League Renault 3.5 series wraps up from Monza. And then it's week 13. But we have something planned for that. Don't worry, we won't leave you alone. But until then, from all of us here at Apex Racing TV, I wish you a good night and happy racing.